Beware of the unusual Hilichurl. This is the story of how I ruined my Genshin account. I've told this one to my Discord server back when it happened, but figured this needs to be known by the rest of the player base so that they don't make the same mistake I did. Treat this as a cautionary tale. It happened a while ago, during the extended Ayaka banner. I was farming primogems on my AR-57 account. Having completed most of the quests, I was just running around trying to find chests when I spotted the unusual Hilichurl, somewhere around Stone Gate. Not thinking too much about it, I went ahead and attacked him, my team making quick work of his health. But when his HP bar hit 0, instead of the usual animation playing of him hiding away in his suitcase, his body went limp and rolled off the cliff we were on, hitting the ground below and remaining there a second too long before dissolving. I found it a bit odd but figured it was because of my poor connection, as I played on the North American server despite living in Europe. I then teleported to Dunny Ruins and only after a combat encounter I realized the music in the game stopped entirely. I went into settings to check on the music audio but nothing was out of place. Exiting settings, I noticed Paimon had this worried look on her face instead of her normal expression, which made me pause. All the other sound effects still worked though, so I pushed away the unsettling feeling in my stomach and continued my game, convincing myself it was all just a glitch and that it would fix itself. I would have forgotten about it as I went on fighting mobs, if it weren't for the sudden faint noise I started hearing. A sort of ear-grating screech that was coming from the north of the map and was growing closer and closer to where my characters were. And then I saw it. Actually, I didn't understand what I was looking at first, but then I realized it was a Hilichurl, but not really. It looked off. It was sort of like a Hilichurl, it had the skinny long limbs of one, but it was way larger, closer in size to a Hilichurl. Its model was also messed up, the fur patchy and even missing in some parts, and its color an off-putting shade of blue. It was the source of the horrible noise, moving slowly towards me on all fours. There was something weird about its face that I couldn't pinpoint. I went to fight it before it could get a chance to attack me, but as I hit it I realized it didn't have a health bar. My team also didn't seem to do any damage, no numbers popping up despite getting clear hits on the monster. Finally my anxiety got the better of me and I turned, deciding to make a run for it, and that's when it let out this ungodly noise, louder than any sound I've ever heard this game make. It brought a clawed hand down on my level 90 Tartaglia, and took more than half of his HP with it. Then my child remained grappled, sort of as if he was frozen, the game prompting me to press spacebar to break out of the state. But no matter how much I pressed it my character wouldn't move, and as the Hilichurl's face inched closer and closer to my character I finally figured out what was wrong with it. It was missing the usual Hilichurl mask, its face covered in dark fur with beady eyes peeking through it, staring directly at me through the screen no matter where I moved the camera. And then it opened its mouth unnaturally wide, revealing sets of razor-sharp teeth, the sight catching me off guard. The monster halted for a second, before lunging at my character, killing him in one bite. Child passed out and the next character in my party, Shi Youngling, spawned in his place. Before I could do anything, she was grappled as well, and the same thing happened to her. Then Zhongli. Then Bennett. I figured I'd let the thing kill my party, and then be rid of it once I respawned to a waypoint and disengaged from combat. But when it killed my last character, instead of the game over screen popping up, another character was deployed on the field from my roster, replacing Child in my party. After that one was killed, another one of my resting characters was summoned, then another. And another. As the prompt to press spacebar popped up again I realized with horror that this would continue until the monster killed all of my characters, so I resumed frantically pressing the spacebar key. The Hilichurl went through 3 more of my characters when I finally managed to break free, with a bit of HP left on my Barbara. Quickly I sprinted away from it, and when I reached a safe distance I teleported to the nearest statue of the 7. I figured out too late that my characters couldn't be healed. The statue wouldn't revive them, and none of the food I had would work on them. Barbara wouldn't even heal herself. As I went through my inventory trying out different foods on my fallen party members, I heard that chilling screech again, and came to my second realization: the monster never disengaged combat. It had followed me from the ruins to the statue of the 7, and caught up to me despite the fact that the game was supposed to be paused. I teleported away before it could catch me again, but ever since then I've never been able to be AFK in the game, because wherever I go it would follow me. It never despawns off my map, not even when I go in the chasm or in Konamiya. It can't teleport, so that's basically been the only way I've been able to buy myself time. I can't do story quests anymore, as the dialogue would have me sitting still for too long, and the monster will catch up to me and attack during cutscenes. I still haven't managed to find a way to heal my characters. I lost some of the best builds I had in this game because of this. The co-op function is broken. I can't even go to my teapot. I think the monster is not letting me leave my world anymore. I can technically still do domains in single player mode, but the monster will be waiting outside of the gates if I take too long completing them. I'm afraid of it catching me, of it killing off the few characters I have left. I was high R. I invested a lot in this account, and I still want to play, but I ruined it all because of one mindless monster kill. I don't even understand why the developers would program such a thing into the game. To anybody reading this, beware of the unusual Hilichurl. Don't attack it, leave it be. I wish I did the same.